Welcome to Burning Bright, a weekly podcast presenting poetry and prose from Passenger. March winds bring April showers, they say. This year, the March heat brought daffodils and forsythia to my Baltimore yard. Nevertheless, as we're moving from March to April, a couple poems at least ostensibly about wind and weather. Rochelle Jewel Shapiro said she's loved mythology ever since she encountered it in grade school. Here's her poem about wind and children and youth and Persephone and her mother Demeter. The wind has picked up. The white clusters of petals that only bloomed this week cling to the pear trees, like Persephone grabbing Demeter's hands the moment before the first frost. You, my daughter, came without your kids. You slept in your childhood bed, the covers pulled up to your chin, and overnight I was young again. Rochelle Jewel Shapiro's poem, The Wind Has Picked Up, from Passenger's Winter 2015 issue. All that was missing was the pomegranate. Jim Zafris said, "Last year my wife and I were driving from Columbus to Chicago when we passed through an enormous windmill farm. There was an otherworldly feeling to it until I looked across the fields and saw a rusted fence." And from that came his poem, Wind in Indiana. Did you notice as we rode all those weightless things blown against the fence that ran along a field of winter wheat? Plastic bags, napkins, a paper cup, their travels interrupted. How hard to roam these days. Even a gypsy camp stays put. The fields drift past. For us the highway's straight, no end in sight. Let's not stop at all tonight. Wind in Indiana, Jim Zafris, from Passenger's 2013 Poetry Contest issue. Next, from Passenger's Winter 2013 issue, Passing Shower, by Mike Jurkovic. Mike said, "Since our weathermen and women really are at the mercy of climate change, they don't know what's going to happen. I just decided to mistake Noah's great flood as a passing shower and took it from there." I come from a long line of weathermen who swore Noah's storm a passing shower. As the last son before 9 daughters, all of whom shattered the glass ceiling by founding girlweather.com, it was up to me to keep the website current. Freaky weather hit any time, post-industrial, and it was getting worse. Mary swore the extinction winter was 7 Tuesdays away. Beth always saw rain, gloomy girl that she was. Tina, well, she liked the moon and the lonely cool of autumn. Molly, her twin, loved upheaval and didn't give a damn which way the wind blowed. I loved all my sisters, even if they were crazier than shithouse rats, and often revised their forecast. Like Amber and Anita, the second set of twins, who loved the New York heat. Expensive humidity was Gabby's bag. The girl liked sweat, pure and simple. Mo kept it real. I loved her for that. "There's a storm a-comin'," she'd always say. Mike Jurkovic, Passing Shower. And finally, since it's almost April, a poem not about April, but by April. April Lindner. Genealogy. Start with the self, your name encircled on the page, a swollen bud. A lattice of branches forks from boughs that gesture back in time, figured as space to that point where the names trail off forgotten. As far as memory can travel won't be far enough. There's no seeing back to the single source, imposing trunk, the terminus, where every soul began. Still, you've devised a map to pinpoint your spot in time like a spider web, proof of the path flesh took through air, dotted with stray facts and proper names, half-remembered faces. Even the nameless ones resolve into a slow procession. Figures robed in shadow, each bearing a candle, wearing features like stone rubbed smooth, drawing slowly forward as if to know you, as if to trace a genealogy in reverse, to study your strange face for a hint of resemblance through the smoky scrim of generations. April Lindner's poem Genealogy from Passager's Winter 2019 issue. April said, "Growing older has made me acutely aware of how little remains of our stories once we die. I am curious about those who came before me, but there's only so much I will ever fathom about them, despite DNA tests, record searches, and all my best efforts." If you'd like to buy one of Passager's archival issues, or subscribe to or learn more about Passager and its commitment to writers over 50, go to PassagerBooks.com. You can download Burning Bright from Spotify, Apple and Google Podcasts, and various other podcast apps. For Kendra, Mary, Christine, Roseanne, and the rest of the Passager staff, I'm John Shore.